radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Well, good evening. Fade to Black. Bespoke radio. For the masses. How you doing? It's Monday, November 5th, 2018. 312 days into the new year. Just 53 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in the middle of beautiful downtown Burbank, California. And I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the planet. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Good evening, everybody. How you doing? Daylight savings time. Yeah. So, did we revert back? We got an extra hour's sleep. I see, like right now it's 8 o'clock, right? But it's actually 7. Is that why I either feel great and refreshed, or I feel like it's midnight? I don't know. I wish they would stop it. But nonetheless, welcome. And for those of you all around the world that, don't participate in this time change thing, yeah, we're not an hour late. We are right on time. Kicking off this week, an amazing week we have here on Fade to Black tonight. Ed Nightingale is here. And we're going to be talking about the seasons of the great year. And I'm going to set this up. If you go to jimmychurchradio.com, on the homepage right there with Ed Nightingale, there's a little blue button right there. It says Gallery. All of the images that we will be discussing tonight are there if you are not on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, we will be posting all of the images. There are 35 images we're going to go through tonight on the show in order, 1 through 35. And they will also appear on Twitter. And if you're listening to this show tomorrow, either in the podcast or whatever, on the replay, the gallery will be up at jimmychurchradio.com. And if you're watching this on YouTube tomorrow, which is today, but that will be then, not now. So if you're listening then the images will be up on the YouTube video. Okay, so there you go. 35 images. Just click on the blue gallery button over at jimmychurchradio.com. It's going to be an amazing show tonight. Ed's research and what he brings forward is just so compelling and amazing. And the last show that we did like this was one of our most popular shows that we've ever done. And we're going to reset things tonight. His research with the cosmos and what's going on up there is incredible, and how it lines up not only here with Earth, but the seasons of the great year. So that's what we're going to do tonight. Tomorrow night, David Wilcock is back. He will be with us tomorrow night, and he is starring in the new film Above Majestic. If you haven't seen it yet, you can go and find it on all of the streaming services and popped up on Amazon for us last night. There it was. Lots of reviews. Very high rating there on Amazon and IMDb. Very cool. We got the advance media copy of the film 2 weeks ago and watched it. It's a great film. It's a great documentary. And if you follow ufology and the secret space program and all of that stuff, if you follow it, there is a ton of new information here that is presented in the documentary. So it's well worth the viewing. Plus, it's the graphics and the presentation and the editing are all top notch. So that'll be tomorrow night. David Wilcock is here above Majestic. Wednesday night, Randall Carlson. That's right. It is, I'm calling it The Interview. There is a lot of stuff going on right now in Randall's world, as well as Ed Nightingale's. And Graham Hancock's new book is out, Before America. America Before America. And if you haven't checked that out, it is has officially been released, and you can go and check that out. And of course, Randall has been working with Graham on all of this research. And not that we're going to discuss the book, we're going to discuss parts of it, and of course his contributions on Wednesday. Graham will be with us in the near future to discuss the new book. But that'll be on Wednesday night, Randall. And what an amazing week. And of course, Thursday night is Fader night. Okay, now on stellar.com, you can go and follow us over there and send me a friend request. And if you do have a profile picture, I will actually accept it. And you can do that over at onstellar.com. Twitter is at jchurchradio. Very simple. Facebook, we have our radio page over there. My personal page is locked up, but you can go and like our Facebook page. And, of course, YouTube. Right there, you can subscribe. Everything is over at jimmychurchradio.com. All right, there you go. Now to hang out in the sandbox on Twitter, hashtag F2B. Hashtag F2B on Twitter. And any questions or comments during the show tonight or any other night, hashtag F2BQ. You can also email throughout the show. I always try to get to as many as I can, and that email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. All right. Breaking news. Yeah. Well, tomorrow is the midterm elections. That's right. I don't know if you've heard the news, but that's going to take place tomorrow, November 6th, Tuesday. And the good news is that no matter what happens, we'll get to stop hearing about it. That's the good news. And we're going to move on to the next crazy news cycle. And that's my guarantee for Wednesday. Okay, so that's going down tomorrow, the midterms, and it's we have Wilcock on the show tomorrow night. So there you go, midterms tomorrow and Wilcock all in the same exciting evening. Now, Oumuamua, right? The first interstellar object ever spotted in our system is, they say that it's a metallic or rocky object, approximately 400 meters long, 1,312 feet in length, 40 meters wide, 131 feet. But a new study from the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics says it could be something crazy. It could be a light sail of artificial origin sent from another civilization. The study, which was posted online earlier this month, suggests that its strange excess acceleration could be artificial in nature, as it has been implied that it's not an active comet. They even theorize that it may be a fully operational probe sent intentionally to Earth vicinity by an alien civilization. The paper was written by postdoctoral researcher Smul Bialy and Professor Abraham Loeb, the director at the CFA's Institute for Theory and Computation. Now, the you can go and read their full report. That's the first thing. The second, to have this head out into all of the news outlets and implying this is pretty strange. It's pretty bizarre. It's pretty strong, right? But the other thing is look at its orbit. And what I don't understand, and this is what is crazy, how it entered our solar system and then exited, and how many years does it take us to get something out to Saturn or Jupiter, right? We have barely explored Uranus or Neptune, barely. You know, they're so far out there. It takes so long. Pluto, right? It just takes forever. And this thing just came and went. And I find that pretty heavy. And to have this article come out stating this kind of stuff, it's pretty strong. It is very strong. Now, you can subscribe to our podcast for just $2 per month. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com and click on the podcast banner. You can also become a Fade or Not over in our membership section of our site. Very simple. You can get whatever you'd like. You can get commercial-free downloadable archives, right? MP3s that you can play anywhere. You get a personal email to me, which is cool. And if you want, you can also get all of that really cool Fade or Not gear, autographed hats and shirts and all of that fun stuff. And, of course, you also get a link to our bunker cam. All of that right there in our membership section of the site. And don't forget, when you're over at Jimmy Church Radio, visit all of our sponsors by clicking on their banners over at jimmychurchradio.com. Let's get the show cracking. Happy birthday to today, Bryan Adams. Yeah, 59 years old. One of Canada's finest exports. Right there. Bryan Adams is 59 years old. Tilda Swinton today is 58, and I think she's one of the great actors of our generation. Also today, Famke Janssen is 54. Tatum O'Neal today is also 54. Youngest ever to win an Academy Award for Paper Moon. She was with her dad, right? Ryan O'Neal. And also the Bad News Bears. All right. OTD on this day in history, 1605. Yeah, it went down. At about midnight or so on the night of November 4th and 5th, a justice of the peace found Guy Fawkes lurking in a cellar underneath the Parliament building and ordered the premises searched. And they found some 20 barrels of gunpowder, and Fawkes was taken into custody on this day, right? The 5th of November. Fader fact, Coca-Cola. Okay, now, again, I have to say this before I announce this Fader fact. Okay? It's been vetted, and this is something you are going to want to share tomorrow. So here you go. Coca-Cola would be green if food coloring wasn't added to it. And that is your Fader fact. Okay. Tonight, Ed Nightingale is here. We're going to be talking about the seasons of the great year. There's a blue gallery button over at jimmychurchradio.com where the 35 images in order that we're going to be discussing tonight are posted. So you can go there. Tomorrow night, David Wilcock is back. He's starring in the new film Above Majestic. Wednesday night, Randall Carlson. And we're going to be discussing Us on Wednesday night. And Thursday night is another Fader night with open lines all night long. Okay, so a couple of announcements here. We have a new website that will be launching on January 1st, which is a Tuesday, which will have a streamlined membership area. It's going to have a really cool marketplace with some new awesome Fade to Black gear. It's going to have easier access to the archives. It's going to have a new Fade or Not gallery and, of course, a fresh, updated look in the latest web technology. And another exciting announcement is that starting this Thursday, Teresa Yannaris will be our new voice on Fader Night, taking over for John Rappaport. And here with us tonight is Teresa Yannaris, and I want to say welcome to the team. Teresa, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Jimmy. How are you? Glad to be here.
Excited?
I am so excited. We're going to have some fun on Thursdays.
Yes, we are. Now, John Rappaport, right? Big time journalist, well respected. We loved having him here over the last couple of years. You're not intimidated by that, are you?
There's some pretty big shoes to fill, but we got to carry on with no more fake news. It was a great era. Now it's time to do some more news. We're going to keep doing news, but we're going to do it in a new way.
Absolutely. And welcome to the team. And one of the things about Fade to Black that we have always done here is bringing the community together and expanding out and getting all sides of the community drawn into this show. And I couldn't think of a better person to come in and do just that. And now you've been featured on Fade to Black and Coast to Coast with me over the last couple of years. And one of the things that I appreciate about you is your generation and your communication to that generation through any means possible and every platform and taking advantage of technology. And that's what we do here. And that's, I can't think of a better time and place for you to be here for your generation. So I want to thank you for that.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, media has become so multifaceted that we're really stepping into a new era. It's not really a newsroom anymore. When we get into radio, we get into video, we're expanding across so many different arenas of thought. And it's just so much fun to be online with you guys and be able to pool our energy together and get closer to what the truth actually is through not just assessing mainstream media, but also alternative media outlets.
And what are you going to be covering? I know that we're giving you a blank slate, just like we did with John. And this is for you to take and run with. But current events, what are you going to be doing there?
Yeah, so for current events, I want to cover the latest news stories. I want to provide refreshing analysis and high-level uplifting perspectives.
And how are you going to approach that? What do you, when you look at news stories, you can't cover everything, but what are you going to use for a set of eyes to choose to cover? Yeah,
what's so important for me is finding things that you can relate back to your own life. So when I'm looking at news and things that I'm going to want to bring up on the show, it's going to be stuff that you can actually take back into your own life, get a nugget of wisdom out of that, and use that practically. So, I mean, there's a lot of news out there. We know this. There are so many different places where you can go find news. So I'm going to be scrubbing the news. I'm going to be looking at all different kinds of sites to really try to hone in on some of the latest content that is refreshing and exciting and interesting.
So John Ledford just tweeted, are we going to do Cards Against Humanity on Thursday nights?
Oh, my goodness. I still have PTSD from that.
Man. That is footage that can't be leaked. But yeah, exactly. And then we have, and for me, I always enjoy discussing pop culture. I love music and entertainment and movies. By the way, Rita and I went to go see Bohemian Rhapsody this weekend. Have you seen it yet?
I saw it with my mom last weekend. It was incredible.
Insanely great, wasn't it?
It was so good. Yes, the music's great. And there was actually some music in there that I hadn't heard. I need to go back and brush up on my Queen.
There was a track. You know what? You're right about that. There was one track that they played that I had to go back and go, wait a minute, I haven't heard that in years. So yeah, you're right. You're right. They didn't play. They played all the hits, but it went beyond that. But anyway, so yeah, we can discuss that. And are you going to jump into entertainment and media?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're going to cover a lot of pop culture. You know me, I like to break down music videos, so I'm definitely going to bring in some of that content, fashion, film, technology, entertainment media. It's going to be expansive, really whatever is the latest, because there's all different kinds of stuff that's going to be happening all the time. So I'm going to be pulling from all those different categories. So depending on what's happening, that's what that pop culture section is going to look like.
Now, you represent your generation, and I have fully recognized the intelligence of your generation and how they seem to be fully upright. But for you, and I'm talking about just connected, they know what's going on. For you, I see that as a bit more of a challenge because you have to take them to another level where they are already at. How are you going to do that?
So you do that by actually pulling the community together. That's something that I've been doing through Divine Frequency, something you've been doing through Fade to Black. It's really not like we're islands here. We're a community. We're working together. So a section that I really am excited about for this segment is going to be the section about the community. So I'm going to be inviting everyone to join me for conversation and collaboration. And every week there are going to be different opportunities for people to share their content. I have a new email address for this. So I'll be asking certain things of people. They can send in their submissions, articles that they're interested in hearing me cover, different things that they just want to talk about. So the email address is ontheairwavesradio@gmail.com.
And now this is another point that I really want to stress is that there is so much breaking right now in our community on the fields of science, of course, with consciousness, how technology and the internet and science and us and parallel worlds and disclosure are all busting out right now at the same time. How do you intend to tackle all of that?
Well, I'm just going to mermaid through it, my friend, like I always do. I'm just going to pick what I think will be interesting. And what I'm excited is that this is a weekly show. So we're going to get plenty of time to see what's interesting to people and just expand it out. So it's going to be one of those things where we've got, 25, 30 minutes on Thursdays, and I'm going to be covering a whole lot of different kinds of content. And then I'll just be asking for feedback so we can really hone in on what it is that as a community we find interesting, and we can just keep getting better and better and more refined.
I want to talk about you for a second. You went to college, journalism, graduated, and other multimedia studies for you. Are you accomplishing what you set out to do with your education?
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I've been passionate for a long time about uncovering what's hidden behind mainstream media. So coming into alternative media, as you know, Jimmy, I look up to you a lot. I've been listening to your show for quite a few years now, and it's very humbling to be a part of this community and to have an opportunity to step out and rally the troops, because like you're saying, we're all researchers. We're all working to figure out what's going on around here. So I just love to be here, and I love to be doing this work because I truly feel like this is the work that's going to change the generations below us and inspire them to continue seeking what's actually happening and not just continue to keep putting those images and messages in their heads blindly. We have to become conscious creators. We have to become conscious consumers. And the more we assess what's going on and looking at different multimedia facets, it's going to help us as a collective to do this.
When we talk about things like fake news, and it has now been used, those words, almost like a weapon, and used to dismiss what may be true. And also now things that are fake are being called real. And fake news is now become a part of popular culture. How do we start to combat that with our audience?
Well, like I said, it's a community. It's a community thing where we've got to pull all of our research together. That's what's so fun about this community, is that you have people that are experts in different arenas. And so when you're tackling some kind of concept, some kind of thing that's come out in the news, everybody can jump on and use their expertise and their skills. And then we break it down and we talk, we communicate, and then we ask each other questions, and then we assess that information, and then we put together what we decide is the closest to the truth, and then we continue to grow, we continue to look for answers, and that will continue to refine itself. It's a process. It's not like you look at information one time, wham, bam, thank you, man, it's done. That's not how it rolls here. It's a continual process that we have to keep an open mind in. To me, that's what journalism is. You want to keep an open mind. You have to assess the information, look for the answers, and then continue to grow.
Yeah, and what I find interesting here is that when we look at Google or we look at Facebook and YouTube and the global control of the internet, how it has been used for negative means, but yet we are using those same exact tools here to project a positive thing and correct knowledge. It's like the opposite of the image of Google and what the internet has turned into and everything else, but yet we are trying to be that voice of change. And I want to thank you for that.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's powerful. It's powerful what we have at our fingertips, and we have to do our due diligence in discerning how to use that. It's a responsibility that we have to take seriously, and that's what we're doing here.
So now, again, thank you. This is going to kick off this Thursday. And again, just like we have done in the past with Teresa, this is hers. I'm not in any way involved. I can't wait to hear what you're going to bring. Just like everybody else, I'll be hearing it for the first time this Thursday. Welcome aboard, Teresa. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jimmy and Rita and Fade to Black. I'm so excited to be a part of the team. It's going to be so much fun.
There you go, Teresa Yanaris. Thank you so much, Teresa. And also, we have set up, I'm very excited about this now. We've set up Teresa with a studio. So over the next couple of days, I get to be the mentor and get everything set up. And on Thursday, you're going to have this bright, shiny, brand new setup here. And that's going to debut, too, as well on Thursday. I'm excited about that.
I am so excited. Thank you so much for this. I'm going to get it all set up. I'll send you a picture. I'll have to post that to Twitter.
Yes. We will. I'll make that announcement on Thursday, but I can't wait for the picture and more on that on Thursday and who is involved with that. But again, very excited, Teresa, and I'll speak to you soon. Thank you so much.
All right. See you Thursday. Thanks for having me.
Teresa Yanaris. Oh, the show was called hold on a minute here. They've got a very cool. Have you posted it, Rita? I don't want to speak out in advance. Okay, it is up. Okay, it's called Divine Frequency on the Airwaves. I can make the announcement. It is up now. There you go. Kicking off this Thursday. Teresa Yanaris on Fade to Black. Now, I'm going to get out of here because when I come back, we're going to be joined with Ed Nightingale, and we're going to be discussing the seasons of the great year. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. Thank you so much, Teresa. We'll see you Thursday. Oh, she's already gone. I tried to sneak her back in. All right, there you go. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. On the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planet. This is Fade to Black, and I'll be right back with our guest, Ed Nightingale. Stay with us.
This is Nicole Church, daughter of you-know-who, and you're listening to Fade to Black on JimmyChurchRadio.com and the Game Changer Network.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can get our podcast for just $2 per month. All you have to do is click on the podcast banner over at jimmychurchradio.com.
Times are changing. The circus of politics, healthcare's low standards and high prices, and let's not forget food quality. What to do? Arm yourself with Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. In a world of chemical imbalance and poor air and water quality, it's time you make a move. Log on to getthetea.com and stock up on organic non-GMO supplements. Don't forget the tea. Cleansing your body never felt so good. And we have a brand new tea called Takedown Tea, which helps support healthy glucose. All natural body support so you can be at your best, naturally. All you have to do is log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. We're not a fad that comes and goes. We are the real deal. Join us and armor up. Getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Changing America's health one tea bag at a time.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the planet.
Do you want to lose weight but have no idea where to begin? The Fast Start Diet, a 3-day weight loss plan, is the answer. 3 days of nutritionally balanced, calorie-restricted meals delivered right to your door. No shopping, no measuring, and no cooking. Everything is prepared for you and ready to eat at home or on the go. The Fast Start Diet has all the amazing benefits of intermittent fasting without starving. We've helped thousands of people who have struggled to reach their weight loss goals. Isn't it time we helped you? With the Fast Start Diet, you'll lose weight and feel great.
Find Fast Start Diet on Amazon or go to faststartdiet.com and use promo code TALK to get 10% off your first box. And as a special bonus, Fast Start will include their #1 rated Lipo3 appetite suppressant spray free with your order. This is Jimmy Church, and whatever your diet plans are, do what I did. Go to faststartdiet.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. How cool is that? Fader night. Teresa and Eris. There you go. All right. What a great week we've got lined up. Tonight, Ed Nightingale is here. Tomorrow night, David Wilcock. Wednesday night, Randall Carlson. And then Thursday night's another Fader night with Teresa and Eris, followed by open lines all night long. Tonight, it's Ed Nightingale. His latest book, The Giza Template, The Leo Orion Relationship, explains those significant astronomical aspects of the Giza Plateau. Now, the Leo Orion Relationship demonstrates how the measurements of the movements of celestial bodies were precisely recorded at Giza and literally written in the stars. And these pictures tell that story of a cyclical nature of the world that we inhabit and how our ancient ancestors were warning us of the cyclical climate disruptions associated with specific geometric alignments within the cyclical movements of Leo, Orion, Sirius, and the Pleiades. Tonight, Ed is going to discuss his latest research and reveal the seasons of the great year, the celestial alignments with the great year, and how the timing is in step with major events throughout history. Of course, his website is the Giza Template. I would like to welcome back to Fade to Black, and I'm excited, Ed Nightingale. Ed, good evening. How are you?
I'm doing great, Jimmy. How you doing?
You're on the show, Ed. It's a perfect night.
we want to hear from you. How you doing?
How you doing? How you doing? All right, now I want to warm up everybody. If you go to the website, jimmychurchradio.com, there is a blue button right there. It says Gallery, and you click on that, and all 35 images in order that we are going to cover tonight are right there. And also, if you are not on the website, you can go to Twitter, and we will post everything up in Twitter, too, in order, starting with slide number 1. Now, Ed, as we get started, our original show that we did covering the Giza Template, which was one of the most viewed and appreciated shows that we've done in many years, and that was a great, exciting show. Tonight, we're going to take things a step further, and your research is always exciting and compelling, but when we're talking about the seasons of the great year, this is taking things to another level. What are we going to present tonight? What are the seasons of the great year?
Okay, well, the seasons of the great year would be the changes that occur within this great year cycle. As we can see that, like in ice core samples and data, we know that there's changes that occur every so often, and our climate changes and conditions change. And what I want to do tonight is I want to show how this template that was left at Giza explains this movement of how specific bodies are moving. And it's very similar to the thought of astrology, as when things align and energy flows between them, like the planet and the sun. When there's alignments, there's different energies that happen. Well, this is just the next step, thinking of these conditions happening in between stars, different stars, our sun, the stars that are related to our sun and where our sun was birthed from. And these are all these connections that occur, and we can see these alignments aligning with these climate changes. So I'll present pretty much that here in the series of these slides.
Now, just like the Giza Template, as the numbers and the evidence and the math and the cosmology started to line up for you, minds get blown, including yours. And here we are now with the seasons of the great year. And as this data started to assemble itself, what went through your mind?
Yeah, it's quite profound, and the implications here are that there's a couple of different camps on what's causing these conditions to change over time, and when you recognizing that in this pattern here, it was it's still hard one to get your head around, but it looks like these two different camps of whether they're impacts or sun-related would actually tie together with this thinking of alignments and having an electrical nature to them.
Yeah, and when the Giza Template, and especially after that show, I couldn't help but think what professional academics should do with this information. Do they go into denial mode? Do they ignore it? Or is this something that they should absolutely appreciate and grasp and start to contemplate? And now we're going to go through the same thing with the seasons of the great year. Why is it that professional academia just doesn't want to admit that this is real?
Well, it just changes their whole paradigm. I mean, they're brought up with old school thinking, and it just doesn't apply. And I've got the evidence that proves this, and I don't say that, puffing my chest up whatsoever. The information is here. I'm just pointing it out. I didn't create this template. I simply recreated it using their instructions. Whoever was really responsible for putting this all together. It's there, and anyone can go step by step through this and learn this and understand this. And it is so beautiful and answers so many questions that the academia absolutely should be looking at this, but I think a lot of them it's just, they'll go to the graves believing what they believe, and it'll be for the young people to kind of pick this up and go. But it's all provable stuff that I'm showing here.
And one of the things as we get into this, and everybody can go and open up slide number 1, which is the basis of everything. So we're going to start there. But the knowledge that we have of the stars today is something that we are coming to terms with and learning more and more every single day. Just not even a generation ago did we have the knowledge that we have today and what we are learning today and tomorrow. It's advancing at a fast rate. But what we're also finding out with cosmology and what is going on with the universe and galaxies and all of the zodiacs and the constellations is that, we're understanding more and more today. But the ancients already had this knowledge, and we are finding out as we start to unravel the universe and the stars and the constellations, as we're starting to understand more, the ancients were already there in front of us, and then we've got this large gap of amnesia. How is it, Ed, as you do this research, how is it that the ancients had this knowledge? Did they have telescopes? Did they have some high technology? Were they given this information from somebody else? How did they possess this knowledge that you're unraveling today?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, they had to have a high degree of technological tools to really map this system the way that they have it mapped here, and I don't know. And the numbers, it's really incredible, the distances between our stars that we'll be discussing tonight and how they're all harmonically related, even numerically. It's really incredible, the distances. And so, they had to understand it to very high degree. In fact, higher than mainstream lets on. And let me be clear about something here, too. A lot of this knowledge that I've presented here is really no secret. This stuff is hidden in plain view, and we see it every day.
Right.
And in architecture and art and other things. So there are people who know about this and have known about it for a long time, but have kept it, for whatever reasons, kept it under wraps.
Okay, well, let's get started. And what we've got first, and we'll do this all the way to the top of the hour, is we're going to lay the foundation of everything that we'll be discussing starting in the next segment. And so the foundation starts clearly at image number 1, which is the Giza Plateau. Take us through that.
Yes, this is a satellite image that I used to calculate the distances between them and actually lay out this plan. So this satellite image is accurate to about 4 inches, and the size of that image right there is about 1.2 miles across. So it's a pretty large image. So 4 inches is very accurate, and it was using that image that really cracked this thing open, because the survey data that is available publicly is misleading and does not agree with the satellite image.
How so?
In that there's dimensions that are given, specified, especially dimensions in between the pyramids themselves, the distances that are off according to the survey data. But then upon using this accurate satellite image, it actually, the dimensions don't work with the satellite image if you take the numbers right off the survey.
So here...
And I propose, too, that they're off by certain dimensions, that the numbers are very specific in that they apply to the template. So it's no accident that the dimensions are different by very specific numbers.
And so with this Giza satellite image, we've got everything squared up. So north, south, east, and west are here. You can see the Great Sphinx at the end of the causeway. You can see the northern side of Cairo and the Nile, and how that presents itself, or the old Nile, I should say. And you can see the Giza golf course very cleanly laid out there too as well. But this is a perfect north, south, east, west orientation, correct?
Yeah. Now north would be to our right as we're looking at the image, and west would be looking straight up or ahead.
Right, and you can see east is on the bottom, where, as we know, the Great Sphinx faces east.
Right, and that's because we're orienting this with the direction or path of the sun, which is east to west.
And we need to be very clear here, because as we go through all of this, this is how the graphics are going to overlay on this image.
Right, correct.
Okay, let's go to image number 2.
Okay, image number 2 is the same image overlaid with, if you look at the center of what the circle, that's where, when I went with John in 1997 with John Anthony West, I went there, and I had imagined that to be the center of the design when I first had this thought. And if you stand at the center there and look due north to where it says 0 degrees, and if you were to turn counterclockwise 259.20 degrees, you would be looking right straight at the head of the Sphinx.
Right.
Directly over top of the head of the Sphinx. And then you can see also in the image where there's the green spiral in there, and the diagonal that's created in that golden rectangle there intersects that 259.2 degrees directly in the head of the Sphinx, where there's a hole actually in the head of the Sphinx. So that's the basic idea of how this template lays out. This is the square and the circle and the spiral that we'll be using, and how they use to map everything out. And in the book, I get into very detailed explanations of each one of the pyramids. We'll bypass that today, but anybody can get the book and read. Really, the foundation of all this is in the book, the Giza Template.
And to be clear, the Fibonacci sequence starts at the crown of the Sphinx where the hole is.
Yeah. It goes right into that's the imaginary center of that spiral, yes.
And when this is one of the most, because everything that you present, not only tonight but on previous broadcasts and in the book, this is one of the most fascinating aspects of all of this, is this Fibonacci sequence. And I don't know how this light bulb went off for you, but everything originates right at the center of the crown of the hole of the Sphinx, and everything that is presented after that is because of that aspect of all of this.
Yeah. So they, like I said, whoever did this had a very high understanding of this whole motion, and this isn't something I'm making up here. This is pretty real stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So on the western side of the Great Pyramid, that is 0 degrees. And then we take off from there and bring the spiral around, and it originates at the crown of the Great Sphinx.
Yep. Pretty much. Yep.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Let's go to image number 3, where this starts to make a little more sense.
Yeah, there is just a little bit better of a picture of the basic geometry that shows how the spiral fits within the square. And notice within the larger square, there's a square of 9 and a square of 8 in there in red. There's 8, and the square that occupies where the Sphinx is placed is in the 21st square from counting from the bottom right corner back. So just to note the position of that 21st square and how it falls in the center of that spiral.
And why is the 21st square significant?
21 is a huge part of this whole system of measure and understanding. If you were to divide the base length of the Great Pyramid of 9,072 inches, if you were to divide that by 21, you would get 432.
Got you.
So anyhow, it's also, I believe, in the southern Queen's Chamber in the shaft where they found behind the door where they sent the robot up in there. There was actually some hieroglyphs in there, and according to Dr. Hawass, the number 21 was in there. Actually, 121 and 21 was in there.
You just said 432.
Correct.
Okay, let's go back to that number. Why it got past me too fast? Why 432?
Well, 432 comes out of this whole system of measure, and how this all begins in the number part of this is what's called the lambda sequence. And if we look at the 8x8 square that we got there in red, if we were to number down the left side of that a doubling system where we started at 1 at the top corner and we went 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, etc., right down the left side, and then we did a sequence of a tripling system over the top side of 1, 3, 9, 27, etc., across the top. And this lambda sequence is really how the whole measuring system is put together. So if you were to go down 4 units from the top left, and then go across to your right 3 units, the intersection of that diagonal there would occupy the number 432 on that coordinate. And that makes up a 3, 4, 5 Pythagorean triangle. So these numbers, those series of numbers placed within a coordinate system gives unity or kind of the same space to 2 different sets of numbers. So it takes the geometry, and it's really beautiful how the geometry and the numbers kind of work together in that manner. And
well, there's another aspect to this too, because 432 is the tuning. It's a healing frequency that Michael Lee Hill has been talking about, and cymatics, but also tied to the Anunnaki, and it's an alternate tuning off of 440, which has been used for forever. But that's 432 correct. Is this new frequency that I'm starting to explore also with my guitar tuning. But for you to bring it up like that with the 3, 4, 5 in Pythagoras is very interesting to me. 432, that number didn't just fall out of the sky in what you're presenting here. There's a connection.
Oh, no doubt. And also, too, 432, if you square 432, you get 186,624, which is very close to the speed of light.
Right.
In miles per second.
Yep, and that's a number that stands out for anybody, right?
Yeah. And this whole beautiful system of measure, I'll tell you, this if this is understood by young people, and man, it's amazing. It's so much easier than what we're being taught.
Okay, let's get through. Let's get through the rest of these basics here. Image number 4.
Yes, image number 4 is that same circle Now we're dividing it by 13. This plays a role in the whole mapping thing here. And if we look, 7/13 of that circle goes right through our number 21 block there. And 7/13 of the concentric circle places it right in the center of that 21st block. But 13 will play a crucial role in the measure, especially in the astronomical aspect here. So.
And then let's go to image number 5.
Okay, image number 5 is those two together, now the circle and the spiral together. And you can see how the number 13 in a division of a circle mates very well with the spiral, as you can see where those two intersect right there in that 21st square. So this is all about the relationship of a circle to a spiral.
Let's go to image number 6.
Okay, image number 6 is the same image shown with the lambda sequence, which I just explained, with the doubling system down the left and the tripling across the top. It gives these coordinates, allows you numerically to have coordinates. So if we look at the center of our 21st square there, the number 2592 is the sum there of 32 times 54.
We're going to be coming back to 2592 quite a few times tonight, everybody. So this is, again, laying the foundation as quickly as we can. Here we go with 2592, image number 7.
Okay, image number 7 is just a zoomed-in view of the 21st square where the Sphinx is located. And using the divisions that were given with the lambda sequence, we were able to determine the length that we assigned to the Sphinx, and its width and length and where it's exactly placed. And here you can see the detail of where and how that spiral rolls in around the Sphinx, and you can see where the actual intersection of the 25 or 259.2 degrees crosses the diagonal there where the Sphinx's head would be.
It's incredible. And 5184 times 5 is, again, 2,920 years. 2592 with a 0, way beyond coincidence. And that is the great year. Okay, let's move to image number 8. We've got about 2 minutes before the break.
Okay, so image number 8 is just a picture of the hole in the head of the Sphinx and where those two lines that we just looked at cross.
Very important here. And I mentioned the crown, the hole on the top of the Sphinx a few times at the beginning of the show with Ed. And there it is right there. There's the diagonal. There's the 259.20 degrees right there. And that's the diagonal of the spiral, which is also, when you cut it into 13 slices, that's slice number 7, correct?
Actually, slice number 7 would be the causeway.
Oh, the causeway.
This green line is the where the spiral is created within a golden rectangle, and there's a diagonal line that is in the golden rectangle.
There you go. Now let's get image number 9 in, and then we'll pick up from here when we come back after the break. We've got 45 seconds. Image number 9.
Okay, image number 9, we're going to be looking, we're going to view the eastern sky from the Sphinx, and we're going to do that on sunrise of December 21st, 2012, and we'll be looking at the galactic alignment that happened in 2012, and that will be our marker. This is where the clock is set.
There you go. Let's take a break right here tonight. Seasons of the Great Year with Ed Nightingale. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. It's going to be a great show. When we come back after the break, again, all of these images that we are discussing are over at jimmychurchradio.com. Click on the blue gallery button. If you're not on the website and you're on Twitter, everything is posted in order on Twitter as we are going through the show tonight in real time. Ed Nightingale, Fade to Black. More right after this short break. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Folks, this is very important information. What's to be said about CBD? AncientLifeOil.com. Our CBD is made from hemp and has 0.003 THC, which means this wonderful product won't get you high, no matter what amount you take. What does CBD do for the body? My hands are tied. But you can Google CBD benefits and be astounded. When you're finished reading, you'll want to log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com and purchase. Life is good when you feel good. People are tired of pain. People are asking for non-GMO organic products to help them with you fill in the blank. Legal in 49 states, and again, our CBD is made from hemp. Ancient Life Oil is about helping people one by one by one. If you wonder how good the product is, the CEO takes it every day without miss. AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Have a great day.
Hello, I'm Katie and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And this is Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
Yes.
We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
Reclaim your active lifestyle with Angioprim. Angioprim is the original liquid oral chelation supplement. Chelation helps remove toxins, heavy metals, and cholesterol in your veins and arteries that can cause blockages. Scientific research proves the active ingredient in Angioprim has superior oral chelation action that helps promote cardiovascular health. Find out more. Go to angioprim.com. Talk to a trained consultant by calling Angioprim toll-free 877-882-7221.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can become an official Fadernaut by just going to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hey, it's Grace. Can we talk about something serious for a minute? Your age. Getting old has its perks. But remember, being a few years younger, you know, your hair was thicker, you didn't have so many wrinkles, that extra weight wasn't haunting you, and you just felt better. Well, we can't turn back the clocks and go back 10 or 15 years, but you can start feeling and looking 10 or 15 years younger with Nature's Youth RSF. It's a doctor-formulated daily supplement that helps your body maintain its peak performance and fight the aging process. Imagine sleeping better, looking better, and feeling better. See how Nature's Youth RSF has helped thousands of people just like you at nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com. Imagine how it will feel when your family and friends are asking you what you did to look so good. Your secret will be Nature's Youth RSF. It's time to start looking better and feeling better. Learn more and order your Nature's Youth RSF at nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com.
Hello, this is Serena Wright Taylor from Conscious Life Expo, and you're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church, who holds the Lucky Pony record for the best astrological chart since 1963. True story.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Ed Nightingale. Seasons of the great year. All of the images that we are discussing tonight are over at jimmychurchradio.com. Click on the blue gallery button right there underneath Ed's picture, and everything will be displayed. There are 35 images. We just went through images 1 through 9, 1 through 8, laying the foundation of everything that we are going to discuss tonight. We just went through image number 9, which was December 21st, 2012, the horizon there in Giza. Let's move to number 10. And Ed, pretty soon here, we're going to be getting into the actual seasons of the great year, aren't we?
Correct. Yeah, just have to set this up so we know what we're looking at. So, okay, so we just looked at the 21st of December 2012 from the Sphinx. And let's just hold on at 9 for just a second here.
Okay.
And let me just explain that we're looking at the galactic alignment there, where the sun, we're looking at the sun on the horizon with the galactic plane or galactic center directly behind it. And the constellation that we're looking at right directly above the sun there is Ophiuchus. And just to note that there are the asterisms that are used in the constellations of the zodiac and others. These asterisms were not just put there willy-nilly. They were planned, and they're pointing at specific things and markers. So we'll note that the leg there of Ophiuchus is touching the ecliptic, that the path of the sun, and it's at a 23.5 degree angle, which is the tilt of our Earth. But we'll be getting back to that point. That's a critical point.
Yes, it is.
For us to pay attention to later on here.
Okay.
So we could go to 10.
Let's go to 10.
Okay, now we were at 0:00 hours, 0 minutes on December 21st, 2012. Now we have rolled the clock ahead to 12 hours, 21 minutes, and 12 seconds after zero sunrise. And as we realize that is a binary date, and that is actually given by an angle that makes up the causeway of the Great Pyramid. So that number there, the 1s and 2s, are not accidental. They come from the causeway of the Great Pyramid, and it's a binary clock setting, if you will. And if we look on the horizon now, we see Sirius is directly on the horizon, and the Great Orion Nebula, M42, or Orion's Sword, is right at 21 degrees off of the horizon, above the horizon. And just the angle between, if we look at the top of the page here, we can see the Pleiades in yellow, that little yellow spot where the dotted line goes to is Pleiades, which is 11 degrees off of the vertical. And they were measuring these movements between Sirius, Orion's Nebula, and the Pleiades, and how they revolve. So that's what they were tracking. And this is the kind of the clock setting right here.
And I remember mentioning this on the last show when we got to this image. It's also Rush's greatest album, 2112. And exactly. I just got to say it, Ed. I'm sorry. I can't escape that. Okay, now this is really starting to tie things together. Image number 11.
Okay, image 11. Now, all we've done there is just we zoomed way out so we can see a much broader field of the sky. So this is the December 21st, 2012 at sunrise, and we can see now Ophiuchus is there in the background. We can see its angle of 23.5 degrees. Now, if we're going to watch the galactic alignment here, we're going to roll the clock back, and we're going to find the next time that a galactic alignment occurs. And this one, we can see with Ophiuchus in the background. And if we go to the next one, and there's a mathematical equation too, by the way, if you look at the top of the page,
right,
that shows precisely how to get to this next date of 24,447 BC. So if we go ahead and go to the next slide.
Image number 12.
Image 12. Now, if we, using that mathematical equation, we go back to the year 24,447 BC, and we can see that there's another galactic alignment there. This time, Orion is, the club of Orion is actually right at where the would be helically rising there, or the sun rising. So right where Orion's club is. So that would be halfway around the circle. So our galactic alignment was halfway through a cycle after approximately 25,000 years. And now look at the time in yellow there, that's highlighted in yellow.
12/21, 2012, 0.
Right, so at 20 hours and 12 minutes after sunrise now is where the sun is coming up on our horizon, meaning that the sun has moved position by a difference of 20 hours. But notice that the hours, 20 hours and 12 minutes, or 2012, that's actually the date of the future galactic alignment of 2012.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's pretty bizarre.
Yeah, it is. It's so fascinating to me. I know. It's just so fascinating to me. Let's go to, again, number 13, image 13.
Okay, 13. We just went back. Now we're back to our 2012, and we can see that the 20 hours and 12 minutes is actually making the year 2012. So we're back. We can go ahead now to the image 14.
Yep.
Okay, so now what we're going to do is we were looking at the ecliptic from its edge view when we were just looking at the horizon.
Right.
So we could see the path of the sun that went on an angle there. That was from the edge. Now what we can do with Stellarium, and this is in particular it's Stellarium software I was using, we can manipulate it so we can view that ecliptic from its axis view. In other words, see it in its circular form. And this is the way that most people will recognize the constellations of the zodiac in this view here. Excuse me. So in this circular view, we're going to be looking at the constellations of the zodiac, but note here that our degrees, how this will be mapped out, will be our 0 degrees to, which would be our north kind of orientation to the right of the page, would be where 0 degrees starts and goes around to 360 degrees.
The same way that we had Giza oriented with slide number 1.
Correct. You got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's
Next.
image 15.
Okay, image 15 now, that's just a little bit more of a view of the constellation, the pictures of the different constellations there, make it a little easier for you to see. But I'm also showing here now, too, the divisions of the hours, because this is going to be now in time. So if we look to our bottom, which would be our east, we would see 0 hours and 24. So that would be 0 hour would be toward our east, and 12 would be to our west. And you can see how that we're indexing the hours with the degrees, how they lined up. And also in this picture, we can see our current pole star is Polaris. Now our pole star changes over 25,000 years. We're going to take, that's what really we're going to look at here. This is where it gets to the alignment part that I'm going to suggest could be the possible mechanisms for setting off these climatic disruptions, if you want to call them that happen periodically.
There you go. And Polaris is in blue.
Yes, and you can see it's right on the horizon line there. And
yep.
And believe it or not, Polaris is 432 light years. It's actually 431.42 or something, but we'll call it 432 light years from Earth, which is pretty amazing.
Again, that 432 number coming into play.
Yep.
And now let's go to image number 16.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, this is just a little bit of a clear image of what we were looking at there, and if we look, we can see the Big Dipper there, the Ursa Major, in particular part of the asterism being the Big Dipper. I was taught when I was young that if I ever wanted to find the North Pole, I just had to look at the Big Dipper and follow the front edge of the Dipper, and it'd point right to the North Pole, Polaris. So I had known that, and I did a little experimenting here, and in this image, and it actually led to a couple of more alignments that I was not aware of. Now, if we look at the back edge of the Big Dipper in the green line, the dotted line, that points from the center of our ecliptic right to Regulus in Leo, in the constellation of Leo, the lion. And Regulus, it's no accident that the name is Regulus, because Regulus is the regulator. So they also used names that were actually describe their function of these stars.
I'll tell you something fascinating. I'm going to make this really quick. When we were up at ECETI for the Soltech conference earlier this year, and we were out doing our sky watches every night, the Big Dipper, the Dipper part of the Big Dipper that you were just referring to here, inside of the cup, right there, were a bunch of flashing UFOs every night. And right there, and they were moving. It wasn't a stationary flashing. It would move at a diagonal. So when you're looking at the Big Dipper, the upper left-hand corner of the cup, right, where the angle is, it would start there and then move down at about 45-degree angle and move down and just flash each night. And it would go on for about 30 to 45 minutes, only inside of the cup of the Big Dipper. It was fascinating. Naked eye, too. We would just sit there and watch it.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I never quite figured out. I don't know what's going on, but it was inside of the cup of the Big Dipper.
Well, if you're going to point to anything that would crack this whole code as far as laying this, the initial layout of all this, the Big Dipper is the thing that you'd be wanting to point at.
That's right. That's right.
We're going to get it. There's even more to it. We can see, though, that the front edge points to Polaris, the back edge points to Regulus. And I also want to note here, too, that the line that points to Polaris in the front edge of the Dipper continues, and it touches up here at the top of that circle it's just a single line asterism, or two stars with an imaginary line between them. And it's called, the constellation is called the sextant. And we all know that a sextant with a T is a measuring, an instrument to measure and, for
ships,
right? Navigational tool,
right?
So there's that sextant will come in important just in another slide or two here, but I wanted to point that out. Also take note, we can see where Ophiuchus is in our sun. And also look here, we'll see the Pleiades is going to be right on this blue horizontal line. And that we could probably go to the next.
Yeah, let's go to 17 because 17. There you go.
Yeah, there's a little more detail. So we can see that the Pleiades was actually, if we're drawing a line between the Pleiades and the pole on that blue line, is going to be a key part into indexing this on the template and how it indexes on the template. But we can also see now too that we got the constellation of Orion there with the red dotted lines going to the nebula. And if we look in particular from the Orion Nebula at the lower red dotted line, goes right through the center of our ecliptic view and touches right on the where Ophiuchus touches the ecliptic that we looked at sunrise there. So exactly 180 degrees opposite of that point from Ophiuchus is Orion's nebula. And as that line goes through, it actually touches the tip of the horn of the bull of Taurus. If we can see, there's a little red, white dot there on that line, the dotted line that goes to Orion's nebula.
Right.
And there's the constellation of Auriga and Taurus, both right there. And interesting about that star is the only star in all the constellations that share two constellations, Taurus and Auriga. And the other interesting point about that is right very near that would be the anti-center of the galaxy, which would be opposite of the center of the galaxy, which we were viewing. So that's
this is all viewed from the Sphinx.
This would be yes. This is the picture of the sky. Now you would need the software to view it in this view.
Right.
But all those alignments are there. Yes.
Let's go to image number 18.
Okay, image 18 is just I guess a little bit more of a detailed view of what we were looking at, and it shows here the significance of the constellation of Cygnus, which is the Northern Cross, and the center star in that is a dividing line that divides that circle in the blue dotted configuration. And notice that blue line actually touches like would be the head of the lion in Leo, and comes down and goes right through the center of the Northern Cross or Cygnus.
Which goes all the way out to Sirius, and it goes through and over to Libra. That's a pretty interesting alignment right there. And
you can see what they're doing there. Those white dotted lines are the scales of Libra. If you can see that constellation.
Yes.
Those lines, they formed those lines to point at certain things. So you can see that the top one there, points right to Sirius, and then the other lines point to different places. So that's what I was saying before. These asterisms were not just randomly chosen. They were done by taking specific points in the geometry that they wanted to point to, and they would lay a ruler or straight edge across this mapped, even if it was hand charted, where these stars were, and they would pick the stars that would be able to match up straight lines to, and point out all these important parts of this map. It's a mapper of the trajectory of our sun and our solar system as it moves away from its origin of birth. And I believe, according to what this map tells me, is that the sun was birthed out of Orion's nebula along with Sirius and the Pleiades.
Now let's go to, I'm looking at the clock here. Let's get to image number 19 because this needs some explanation here.
Okay, image number 19. We're looking at the same exact image we just looked at, except now we took our template, the picture there that had the circle and the spiral on it, and that division of 7/13 that was the causeway of the Sphinx, and we aligned that right to our sextant, and our sextant points out the 7/13, the causeway of the Sphinx, actually, that is. So the sextant was used to set the proper placement of the template on the star chart. And if you look, you can see the blue lines there that we created using the Pleiades now are the center lines for the template.
Now, and looking at this with this orientation and the lining up of this is ridiculously. It's impossible that this is coincidence. It's an impossibility.
Right. You're right about that, and it is what it is, and there's not much debate about all this.
It's just incredible to me. I look at it. I'm blown away. And we have to remember about the timing of allegedly when the Giza Plateau was constructed. Let's just say if we went with conventional academia, at 3000 BC, 2650 BC, pick the number, it doesn't matter to me. They did not have this knowledge. If we are to believe what they are telling us about the chronology of man, right? Stone Age man, this is before the Bronze Age, this is before everything, but yet this is lining up like this. So there's something else to the story here, Ed.
No doubt. And, to even just, if everybody grasps this as well, they were drawing or making a template of an alignment that just occurred in 2012. So think about that. Okay, not only did they understand the stars back then, but they knew how to map out this far into the future to make this alignment work.
Right. And let's go to image number 20. We've got 2 minutes.
Okay, image number 20 you on?
20. 20.
Okay. There again, I think it's pretty much the same things that we were just going over, just a little bit more detail. It's just showing where the Pleiades and Taurus and we pretty much went over that. Other than just to note too that the bottom of the Big Dipper, a line drawn across the bottom of the Big Dipper, points to Orion's Nebula.
Let's take a break right here. Let's squeeze it in. We'll pick up where we left off with image number 21. Tonight, it's Seasons of the Great Year with Ed Nightingale. All of the images are at jimmychurchradio.com. Click on the blue gallery button. If you're on Twitter, you can follow along with us right there in real time. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to KGRAradio.com.
tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously, go Beckley Tappy. Do you want to be an official Fadernaut? Of course you do. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Just go to our membership section at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
If you have hard water, the lime scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate lime scale and other water issues like brown staining and bad odors with HydroCare water products, available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable water systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Are you intrigued by paranormal talk radio? You'll love the new paranormal radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the paranormal radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the paranormal radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Ed Nightingale is here discussing the seasons of the great year, his latest research. We're up to image number 21. Go to JimmyChurchRadio.com, click on the blue gallery button, and you can follow straight along. We're up to image number 21. This is where things are going to start to kick off and get really interesting. Also, everything is being posted over in Twitter, too, as well. And if you're watching me on the bunker cam, for some reason, my chair has now decided to change its height in real time, so I'm constantly boosting it back up, and that's what's going on. I'm just sitting here, and boom, it's kind of freaking me out. Ed, right when you say something critical, my chair decides to go down about an inch. And it's time for a new chair. I've had this one for a few years now. Okay, now this is where things start to get interesting. We're at image number 21, and in this you've got a graph there superimposed.
Yes, and what we're looking at there is the climate records from ice core data that date back 17,000 years in this particular image.
And why is that significant, Ed?
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to synchronize that graph of the temperature changes, and then we're going to synchronize it and wind the clock backwards. We're going to take our image from our 2012 Galactic Alignment Day.
Right.
And we are going to turn the clock back. We're going to go back 17,000 years, and then we're going to roll it forward just like a clock, and we're going to watch how these alignments occur, and we're going to see how they align with or not with these peaks and valleys in the climate where these drastic changes occur.
So on the right side of the graph, you've got an arrow pointing and with a red line, and that is December 21st.
Correct. That is present-day temperature. And I just want to make a point here, too. If we look at our present-day temperature and we follow that line all the way back, for those concerned about the global warming and because you're using too much fuel in your car or whatever, not to downplay the unnecessary waste of fossil fuels, but the temperature has varied drastically in those times, a lot warmer than it is today and much colder. So just beware of the people blaming you for causing climate change. Okay, enough of that rant.
Yeah,
okay.
Enough of that rant. Okay, so let's go to image number 22.
Well, I'll tell you what, just to go back there. Okay, go to image 22 is fine. Yeah, that'll be fine.
Okay.
So what we're doing there is we're drawing lines in between the center of our ecliptic to the white line would be Sirius, the red line would be to Orion's Nebula, and the blue line would be to the Pleiades. And we'll have lines that go back to our current pole star. So as we go around, now we can see I do have Polaris highlighted there in the white circle.
Right.
But that's no longer our pole star. But back 17,000 years before present, our pole star was right there in the Northern Cross, or Cygnus, right near Deneb.
Now, and what this research is showing is what, Ed, as we go backwards?
Okay, so as we can see that the stars have changed position, and our pole star, what we're going to be doing here is tracking our pole star, and that's where all the blue lines converge. The three blue lines,
right,
where they converge to the point, that will be where our pole star is 17,000 years before present. So we're seeing the sky as we're looking at from the Sphinx, but we're looking at it at 17,000 years before present. So the positions are different, our pole star in particular, and again, where those three blue lines converge will be our pole. So we're going to click this ahead. Right now we're on our graph for our climate chart, we're all the way to the left of it, and we're at 17,000 years before present.
Which is I want everybody to understand, which is the leftmost red vertical line.
Correct. And we're going to watch that as we progress through here. Now, I did this actually in a lot more detail with 1,000-year intervals, but for the sake of cutting the few slides out here. I'm just going to show you the ones that align. So what we're going to do now is we're going to turn that clock ahead, and we're going to turn it clockwise, and we'll go to the next slide number 23.
Right.
And we'll see now at about 14,000 years ago, we can see that there's where the Earth, Sun, and Sirius alignment occurs. So we can look and see kind of where the electrical arrow is pointing there at our pole star, and a straight line from our pole star through the center of the ecliptic to Sirius is a straight alignment of, consider it like an electrical alignment, or in astrological terms, in astrology, where planets align, and there are certain alignments where there is more of an energy flow. We know that there's tails that connect our planet and the sun, and they call them magnetic tails, but that's not really. You couldn't really just have a magnetic tail without anything to create the magnet. An electrical force would be making these tails up, as opposed to just a magnetic.
Now, could we, and I like what you say here in 23, you say, are these alignments the mechanism for triggering periodic climatic disruptions? Could we use these for predictions for the future?
Well, that's exactly what I think they did at Giza, and that's exactly what we're looking at here.
Right.
They mapped this out, and to show that, hey, watch Orion and watch Sirius and watch the Pleiades, because when these suckers line up, shit hits the fan.
Right.
That's basically what they were saying. And
now, when we look at number 23, which is 12,000 years before present, which is, again, we're getting at a very magical time for, which is 10,500 BC or thereabouts, where Graham and Bivol and Randall and others have always gone back and pointed at Robert Schoch, John Anthony West. This is a very dramatic period for all of us, and going back to Göbekli Tepe, too, as well.
Yes. And if you look, you can see that first alignment there, with the Earth, Sun, Sirius alignment, is right where the major spike is, where the climate actually jumps way up and then drops like a rock. If Sirius is actually known, one of the names would be called the Scorcher. Just to get names involved with it here, it's called the Scorcher. So anyhow, why don't we go to number 24, and we'll show you the next alignment that occurs. And we can see that's right in the neighborhood of, when right around 12,000 BC.
This is 10,000 years before present.
Yes.
So that would be 8,000 BC.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Don't look. I have very little brain left at the age of 55.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, I got very little left. I was up at 4 o'clock this morning, so I might be a little off here.
But here we go, and looking at the chart, what are we seeing here?
Sirius? No, that should be the Pleiades. I think I misrepresented it. Yeah, this should be Earth Pleiades alignment. I had a couple slides messed up here.
Okay, so we're not on Earth Sun Sirius. We're on Earth Sun Pleiades, and so it's just mislabeled.
I mislabeled that. Yeah, it's in blue, meaning Pleiades, but I mislabeled it. Yeah.
Okay, I got you. Okay,
sorry about that.
So, just for clarification, we're on 25, which is 9,000 years before present, and we're at Earth-Sun Pleiades alignment, and you can see it with the dark blue line on now. But on the chart, what are we seeing here?
Yeah, just to make sure something here, this is 9,000 BC on the date on our stellarium, which is about 11,000 years before present.
Yes, I'm looking at it here. 11,000 years before present. Yes.
Yeah. So there's our next, and it looks like there's another spike right there in our temperature.
Right.
So we've gone now through the three stars or the two star systems in the nebula of alignment, and then things seem to just go to the next alignment that happens is all the way up in. If we move to slide number 26,
right,
it's right up to the medieval warm period, or right around 1000 AD, which was right when the Mayan culture, disappeared or whatever. So that was a Earth-Sun Sirius alignment, which again is the scorcher. So we can see pretty much where those alignments occurred. There were pretty drastic changes in the temperatures, and what I'm suggesting here, and what I think they're trying to show here in this whole template, is that when these, if there's an electrical consideration given to cosmology, it opens up a whole lot of, just answers a lot more questions here as far as these alignments occur. So if we're kind of connected with these rivers of electricity, and these would be very subtle, less of a force than gravity even, so, and very difficult, like to measure. It's like going up in a spacecraft. It's not just easily measured, the electricity in space, but it is there, and I think it's in these alignments. And these alignments are what sparks these changes. Imagine these, as an electrical circuit, and the two lines cross there, and all of a sudden you're getting more energy to the sun,
right,
or more energy to the planet here,
right.
Or canceling out some too, because on some of these, the pole star or the pole moves around the center of that ecliptic there, it can be kind of on one side or the other. The sun could either be in the center, or the sun could be on the outside edge of the alignment. I think it could be different.
Now, what do you make of, Ed, what do you make of between the last, drastic change I'm looking here was at 9,000 BC, which we just discussed, but between 10,500 all the way to today, pretty rock solid, steady. Were there no alignments that happened in that? I'm going to go with a rough guess here, looking at the charts, 8,000 years.
That's correct. There was no alignments between our specific stars that we're looking at, and that would be the Pleiades, Sirius, and Orion, which are the three major stars that they're pointing out. And there's a lot more to this template. We went over it the last time I was on with you, and if anybody would be interested, it really suit them well to listen to that program we did on Giza Template 2.0.
Right.
And we could see, because there's the significance of the Pleiades and Sirius and their origins in Orion, as we discussed there.
Now I want
very well mapped.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's like it's perfect. It's not very well mapped. It's perfectly mapped.
You're right.
But I want to ask you really quick before we move forward again. If we go back and looking at the chart here, something very significant happened at 16,000 years. Was there an alignment there?
Well, it was very near an alignment. If we go back, I forget, it would be 23 maybe. Let's just see here. It was
23.
23. You can see there that alignment. These alignments, the way I have them here, are kind of right directly aligned. But if you could imagine, if these were like electrical connections or rivers or umbilical type cords, if you want to think of it as that, or connections, electrical connections, you would actually start feeling the effects of that. Possibly like a spark would jump a gap. It would, when it got to a certain point, it would kind of attract itself. So it could vary. These alignments, I don't think have to be dead on before they start having an effect. And also, the way I did this, I was actually just going in 1,000-year intervals. I wasn't like dialing it in anything less than 1,000 years.
Right.
So if we were to do this and be a little more precise, I think it would probably hit on that maybe even a little bit better. But
yeah, because that's a pretty significant dip there at 16,000.
Yeah, it is.
That's a pretty significant dip. Okay, let me look at the clock. Let's go to, where were we? We're at 26, 27.
Okay, 27. Okay, now we're back to the 2012 picture here, and we can see we've already passed the one alignment with Sirius, and the next one that's coming up, if we look at where our pole star is, the next one coming up is going to be an Orion Nebula connection, the Sun, our pole, and Orion Nebula. And as I ran that through I ran it forward, and it took about another 200 years to actually get that to perfectly line up in a straight line. So I was suggesting before that it looked as if these occurrences would be, just slightly, in and around that alignment. It didn't have to wait till it was exactly lined up perfectly straight in order to have its effect. So, I think we can expect that down the road we're going to be having that alignment again, and I wouldn't doubt that that's exactly what they were pointing at.
So you're saying it would be 2212, 1221.
Well, according to when I ran it forward and had that alignment straight on there, it was 2212.
2212. What do you think is going to happen on 2212?
I don't know. I think these things happen. I don't think you can predict the day by any stretch of the means, but I think that these alignments are significant and too coincidental. The way they align to the ice core data, and really the mythology in all this, and the mathematics and the geometry, and the fact that I know that everything else that was put down there has all been checked and rechecked, and it's there, and I don't see any reason why this part of it wouldn't be as relevant or as real as the rest of it. This has actually been, it's like been a huge learning thing for me, in that they give you the clues to figure this out. If you find the right starting point at Giza, and you have enough of you're a little familiar with mathematics and some geometry and curious, you can, find your way through this whole thing, and it maps it right out. And, I'm quite confident that, what we're looking at here could very well be an explanation for these triggers. And what I mean by that, too, when we see comets, especially comets, we see these huge tails, and the mainstream would like to tell you, they're fluffy snowballs gassing off gas. Well, that's just not the case at all. We've landed on and looked at these comets, and a lot of them are blacker than, the one was blacker than black. And what we're looking at here is an electrical discharge, just like a bug flying into a bug zapper. And it's breaking the capacitor, the solar capacitor. And a lot of the work that I'm referring to here would be Professor James McCanney. And he was one of the original guys who discussed an electrical universe, or an electrical part of the universe. And
but when I'm looking at this at 2212, are we going to see a dramatic increase in temperature, or are we going to see the next ice age?
Well, that, I can't really answer that, but if I would assume if we, really had some brilliant minds looking at this and coordinating it a little better and looking deeper into this possibility of an electrical nature or energy flow from really the center of the galaxy right on out through the star-birthing nebula to the stars and our sun and whatever. I think that would answer a lot of it, because there's kind of a couple different camps out there. One being of the cause of the Younger Dryas, or this what we're looking at here in the ice at the end of the Ice Age,
right?
That period. There's impact theories like the comet group there and Randall Carlson's work, and there's clear evidence of that. There's no doubt about that. And then we look at Robert Schoch's work and Paul LaViolette, where they're talking about either the sun having massive disruptions, and LaViolette where there's a galactic core. I think these all play into it, and they're all part and parcel of the same electrical connection, because this electrical connection would cause, if you look at comets and comet tails, there's debris in these tails. They're everything from water to hydrocarbons to rock and fluffy things. There's a lot of different elements within these comets and comet tails, and these being electrical in nature, they're actually pulling that material in toward the body.
Well, let's take a break right here, and we're going to start to get to the future of this too as well. But looking each one of these points here, which are going up and down, and the Younger Dryas, and of course the end of the last ice age, where we had these dramatic spikes. Well, there's nowhere to go. I can't imagine going hotter, right? That's the thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's hope it's cooler. We're going to get to image number 28 when we come back. Our guest tonight, Ed Nightingale. This is Fade to Black. Stay with us.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Poor water quality is a major health issue, and it's only getting worse. Municipalities can't keep up, standards have dropped, and pollutants are increasing. Where does it all end? It ends by keeping the pollutants outside of your home with HydroCare's advanced systems available at Wave Home Solutions. No less than the best purification materials and processes have been developed by HydroCare to provide you with healthy, clean water for drinking, cooking, and showering. HydroCare far surpasses the competition in removing chlorine, odors, iron, lead, chemicals, limescale, and much more. Don't settle for less when it comes to your water. We'll take care of the toughest water problems for you, whether it's from a city or well source. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, call 888-997-WAVE. That's 888-997-WAVE. Or go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRAradio.com.
Does your basement or crawl space have a damp, musty smell? Well, watch out. That's a sign of too much moisture and not enough ventilation. And that can mean increased mold growth and the buildup of harmful toxins and gases. Don't bother with a dehumidifier. It just circulates the same unhealthy air. Now there's a better way to remove these dangers and odors. It's with the computerized Wave Moisture Control Unit that reduces moisture and expels pollutants.
We replaced our old dehumidifier with the Wave unit, and in only 3 weeks, our basement is dry and the musty smell is gone.
Wave units require no maintenance, no buckets of water or filters, and costs only pennies a day to run. Breathe better, live healthier with an affordable, no-maintenance Wave unit. Call 888-717-WAVE, 888-717-WAVE, or visit dryhealthyhome.com, dryhealthyhome.com.
Ride the wave. Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I only drink Fade to Black blend coffee from Rivermoon. Just click on the Rivermoon Coffee banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code F2B Blend.
So are you tired of being tired? Well, then it's time to get the tea. Hey, it's Lisa here to tell you about this all-natural, all-organic tea I've been drinking that has had great results for over 20 years. It's called Life Change Tea, and it's specially formulated to help detoxify and cleanse your kidneys, liver, colon, and blood all at once. The colon is one of the most ignored organs in the human body. The faster that waste is eliminated from the body, the less time that waste sits in our intestines, spreading toxins to our bloodstream. This tea helps cleanse chemicals caused by outside intruders from our entire digestive system. And get this, weight loss can be a side effect. And with continued use of the tea, you can experience clearer, healthier, younger looking skin, increased energy, and a happier outlook on life. So if you're tired of being tired, get the Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. And like me, you'll be glad you did.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Teppy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Ed Nightingale is here. Seasons of the Great Year. Fascinating presentation and conversation. Want to remind everybody, tomorrow night, David Wilcock will be here. Above Majestic. Wednesday night, Randall Carlson. Thursday night, Fader Night, featuring Teresa Yannaris. There you go. Now, I'm going to let everybody know, There's no issues with the website. We have got literally thousands and thousands of people clicking on these images at the same time, and our software is assuming that we're having some kind of attack on the website. That's all. Everything is fine, and just you have to be patient. But it's all good. I've clicked through it, and there you go. That's actually a good problem to have, Ed. There are a lot of people clicking on these images. Now, we're on image number 28, which is going back again 10,000 to 12,000 BCE, which is the previous Earth-Sun-Orion alignment, which was at 12,000 years ago before present, correct?
Correct. So the one that we'll be coming up on in 200 years was a Sun-Orion or Earth-Sun-Orion alignment as well. So, if there's any indication, the last time that that alignment happened, we were looking at a huge spike in temperature there. But, who knows? Because there's a slightly different alignment in that I was explaining earlier that the next time that goes around, they'll be in a little different position as far as in the order of the positions here. But anyhow,
but at 10,500 BC, it is such. It's the Leo alignment to the Great Sphinx, the Orion aligning up to the three pyramids. You have the erosion, the water erosion on the Sphinx, and you also have Göbekli Tepe. And I keep going back to Göbekli Tepe, and what is significant about that was that at 10,500 BC, on your chart here that I'm looking at, that's when they decided to bury it. Right. And did they bury it because they knew that something was about to happen?
Yeah, there's some might disagree with that, but I think that in lieu of this other information here, I think there's really no doubt about that. There's only one reason you would bury something carefully, and I know they want to go with religious ceremonies and all. I don't always just buy that. I think there's a lot more of a practical reason that these people did things, and we need to start thinking about these things in a more practical way, not necessarily, they were worshiping gods, and that was part of it, and I get all that, but not all of it hangs on that. They were telling us a very important story, and it's in the megaliths, it's in the artwork, it's all over. And once people recognize this template and realize what they're looking at using this template, this is kind of like the glasses there that Ben Franklin used in the National Treasure thing. This literally is a template that when you understand it and apply it, you can. You can see, first of all, who knows about it, because it's obvious that they were copying this template. So all of a sudden they become very in your face once you understand all this. And
it's significant. They were preserving Göbekli Tepe at that state, 10,500 BC, for us.
Yep.
They knew that something catastrophic was about to go down, and they needed to say that. Göbekli Tepe was constructed over a couple of thousand years, and to have it just suddenly end with them burying it is something that we need to consider. They were preserving it for us. It's really that simple.
Occam's razor there. The simplest explanation is usually the correct one, and that is the simplest explanation. Why would you go to the trouble of burying a thing? You did all that work to make these, unbelievable structures, and then to just bury it. There's only one reason you would do that, and that would be to protect it, to preserve it, so that other people would know in the future. And when you get this template at Giza, I believe it's the key to any and all of the structures around the world. That's the core information that's there. I think there was different teachers that taught it differently in different parts of the world and cultures, but essentially they're all telling the same story, is that our sun was birthed out of Orion, and at the same time, or in the same area as the Pleiades and Sirius, were all part of a system together somehow that originated in Orion. And as we move away in this spiral trajectory, and we're spinning around, like the sun path would actually be helical, which is no accident that the word Helios is the word for sun. It explains its movement even.
Now let's go. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And that just at certain points within this trajectory, as these paths cross and align, it has electrical disturbances or can make disturbances within these systems. And that's what we're seeing in the climate change.
It has to be. I mean, it has to be.
The odds of this aligning like this are, again, slim. It's hard to look at this, what I just presented, and say that there's nothing that works there, because it really does. All these major points in these younger Dryas align with things. And there's also, we've got to take into account there are random events that mix in with this too that can confuse the record, make it a little more difficult to see these cycles.
I'm wondering if you could apply the same method to earthquakes and to... I wouldn't
doubt that at all.
Right. Okay, let's go to... let's go to... if you went to, say, the San Francisco earthquake or what happened in 1994, the Silmar quake in 1971 or 72, whenever that was. If you go and look at, or volcanic eruptions, right? Krakatoa, and go, Vesuvius, and you start to look at these, very, very significant events and see if there's an alignment there too as well. I mean, the universe is powerful, and the alignments, like you're suggesting here, the electrical alignments and the interference, all of that too it's not, some may say the speed of light, but if you're at the quantum level, it's also instantaneous. It's at the same time.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's go to slide number 29.
Okay, slide 29 is just, it's the template as... It's not the complete template, but just we're looking at the square and mainly the zodiac constellations as it is overlaid on Giza, and we can see the three pyramids, the blue being the Great Pyramid, the red being Khafra, the center pyramid, and the white being Menkaure there, and how the green line there is the ecliptic. And we can just see the different divisions, and these are important parts of this. If we look over to the right there, we can see Orion, and we can see how these spirals come out of the nebula of Orion and move around, very beautifully work geometrically with this whole thing. Now, this is only part of it, and I don't have the time to explain this. We did go over it the last show.
We did.
So if anybody wants to update and kind of get caught up on that, they can look at that or look in my book. And even on Graham Hancock's site, I have an article. It's linked from my website that'll explain a lot of this for those who haven't heard it before. But these spirals and where all these alignments, this is the map, essentially. This is the map that they were giving us. And we can see the sun on the horizon up here in our left corner there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how they used this template to compose different masterworks of art. We went over some Da Vinci stuff the last time I was on, but now I want to go over one that's in particular got a lot to do with Taurus and this whole Taurid meteor stream and the bull.
Okay, so let's go to image number 30.
Okay, so image number 30 is called the Tauroctony, and this is the cult of the Mithras cult in around 100 AD or so in first century AD in Rome, and they were a mysterious cult, very similar to Christianity in a lot of ways. Mithras was the sun god like, and but this is a very famous work here, and what I want to demonstrate is just show that they used this template and the positions within the template that were relative to this trajectory and this calendar and this time. They used the positions of the characters and significant points to encode in this work. We'll see where the Mithras is stabbing the bull in the shoulder with his dagger, and then there's a dog up and going for the bull by where the blood of the bull is coming out, and we can see these two individuals on each side holding a torch. And
now let's go. Okay, let's jump ahead really quick to image number 31. Okay, and as I'm looking here and the orientation of everything, now, you know what, this is ridiculous. This is redunculous. But the beginning of the Fibonacci, this is, everybody go ahead to image number 31. That is the crown of the Sphinx, correct?
Yes.
Yep. This is just too much to absorb. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much, Ed. It's too much.
It's pretty heavy, man. It really is. And when you really stop and think about it,
so that's Orion. So the on the right hand side, the figure on the right hand side where his arm is coming down, that's Orion.
Yes.
Oh man, and that's Polaris.
Yeah, it's all there. I mean, look, the way his arms are positioned there. His if you look, it would be his right shoulder or his right arm. If you look at his right arm, that's a division of 11 of the circle.
Right.
His left arm goes up, and that's a division. If you see the division in red of 5 divisions, that is the 5 divisions of the great year in approximately 100-year intervals. And he's holding his hand, his left hand, he's holding it right on that, and that's also the let's see, it would be the north, the north air shaft out of the king's chamber goes right, he's holding it right where that star is in his left hand.
Right.
That also meets there.
Now, what about his right elbow where everything is intersecting? Where is this on the Giza map?
That's right at the center of our Giza map, right there, his elbow. That is the center of the circle. And if you look at that yellow line that goes up right through straight through between his eyes, that line right there is, 264.60 degrees, or 26,000, or 264.6 degrees, which is the year. In years, it's 26,460, which was that original mathematical equation that we did, that we arrived at. If you subtract the year 2013 from that, you get to 24,447. So the center line of his his eyes there are going back to that original date that we looked at, that previous galactic alignment.
I'm gonna go. Let's go. I'm looking at the clock here. Let's go to 32.
That's just a little bit more of a highlighted. You can see a little bit more of all these connections were pointing at very specific points, and it tells a story. It tells this story about the cycles of Orion, Sirius, and the Pleiades, and the Sun-Earth connection. And they're mapping this out, showing that there's different ratios at which they turn and spin, and it's during these certain alignments that we need to beware that there's changes. Just like as we go around the seasons of the year, there's seasons of the great year, and the ancients knew about it. They recorded it very precisely, and it's in monuments, it's in artwork, in heraldry, you name it. It's all over, and there's a lot of people that know all about this.
Now, what about those that would say, and I've jumped ahead, I'm on 24, that would say, well, if you get any piece of, quality art or sculpture, you'll be able to pull these relationships and numbers out of it?
Well, I would say let's do it, and I'll show you, and you show me, and we can go by this point by point. I've done it with other paintings, and that didn't work at all. I mean, nothing really lined up. These aren't just geometric positions either, as far as the phi division or whatever. There are those in there, but these coordinates are very, very particular. It's like a fingerprint here, and when you start adding up the amount, I stopped because it's getting too cluttered. It's hard to even look at.
Right. But yeah,
there's so many things in here. I studied this thing for a long time, and the detail in this is stunning.
Yeah, 33 is unbelievable. And you're right. It's starting to get a little cluttered, but everything continues to line up. It doesn't fall off at all.
Right, it don't. And like I said, there's more to add to that too, and I can do this with, many of the masters that really, were into the mystery schools and stuff. They knew this stuff. This was what they were passing on.
Have you taken a look at Karahunj in Armenia?
I have not.
Okay, I think that's one of the next things that you need to apply the method to as well. Let's go to the cover of the Giza Template, which is 34.
Okay, yeah, that's my book, and I'd appreciate anybody interested in this. Yeah, pick up a copy. It's you can go right to my website, and there's a link directly to Amazon. And if you like it too, give me a review and tell me what you think. Laird Scranton helped me out with that, and my good buddy. And what's the Giza Template? The initial book there is really the foundation for all this. It goes over in great detail the whole measuring system and how each one of these pyramids were placed, why and how their measurements came to be, and their angles, and it's all there. There's pretty much all the main structures on Giza are accounted for and have a purpose. And that first book is really key. If you can get that and build on that, there is some mathematics in it, but I wrote it in a way that you could actually skip over a lot of that and really just cut to the chase and realize it. But Giza is like a Rubik's Cube of numbers. Meaning that if one of those pyramids were changed just a little bit, nothing would really work it would all just kind of fall apart into random numbers.
What's Ed, what's next? I mean, there's so many different areas where you can take this. Where are you going to head next with this research?
Man, I'm just really overwhelmed. There's so much to it, and I would just love to be able to get like a team. And really, I kind of need to focus the rest of my days on trying to, really document all this. I got a ton of stuff here. At least another book I could write on the celestial aspects, and then there's a lot of the artwork, and then there's so many other sites around the world that I've already just peeked at and realized, whoa, I got to go there and look there too, and I would just love to be in a position where, I could really devote my time to this and, have a couple of colleagues that would work with me and we could really answer a lot of questions here.
It's unbelievable research, Ed. I highly recommend the book, and of course, not only getting the book, but going back and covering our last show together too, as well, where it's just so well laid out. But this is about as exciting as any research that is going on right now, and I'm not kidding about that. It's amazing stuff.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I've worked awful hard on it. I really just kind of got on the trail there 22 years ago or so, and I kind of made a promise I was going to follow through, and as luck would have it, it just, I was in a position where I had the time I could spend, and I was always, just edged on by one little extra clue that they gave me to figure out the next step, and it's just been a process, and
how is the we've got about a minute left. I didn't get this question in earlier. How has the reaction been out there with the academics? Have they reached out to you for comment?
No, and I'm very disappointed. I figured if somebody were to actually put information out there that was reproducible, mathematics and geometry, that's really, it's not something you can really argue about, I figured they would be all over it. But I got to say, I'm disappointed by the academics and other researchers that haven't really, I know in my work here, I've always tried to collect data, any data that was relevant, and apply it, to my own mission here, my own search for truth.
Right.
And these other researchers out there, it would behoove them to have a look at this. And I'd like to give some courses on this and get some other people, up to speed on this to
carry it on.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I really, that's where I really want to go with this. Hopefully be doing some stuff with Magical Egypt and Chance Gardner up and coming, and to help me document some of this and do some 3D animation and stuff. So
that would be great. Well, you can rest assured that I have stolen everything, and I will continue, and I will act like it's my own, so I can look like the smart guy in the room.
Just as long as you take credit for it yourself.
Ed, thank you so much, my friend. Another amazing conversation tonight here on the show, and just thank you for all that you do. You're the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good to talk with you.
Ed Nightingale. GizaTemplate.com is the website. The links are over at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Thank you so much, Ed.
Take care, Jimmy. Thank you.
Ed Nightingale. The links are at JimmyChurchRadio.com. We've got everything up in Twitter, and we will put together a video with all of the gallery right there in a row, and you'll be able to do that and follow along in the archives. This is Fade to Black. Ed Nightingale. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'm going to open up the phone lines when I come back, and we'll do this last segment. Stay with us.
Hey, what up, y'all? Sugar Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously, go Beckley Tappy. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I take Life Change Tea supplements every single day. It's what I do. Click on their banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Tappy.
Hi, folks. CBD is the home run hitter for health right now. Why, you ask? Because of what it does for the body. Unfortunately, I can't tell you all about the benefit. You know, there's reasons. Do your due diligence and log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Ancient Life Oil uses organic ingredients and is blended in coconut oil for some of the best benefits. Legal in 50 states and non-psychoactive. Log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and my family is safe because of Numana Emergency Food Storage. Just go to the Numana banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Promo code Jimmy10.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
This is Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Opening up the phone lines right now, 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695 or 818-921-6929. That was an amazing conversation with Ed Nightingale. I want to thank you for that. The book, The Giza Template, is right there. Click on the links over at JimmyChurchRadio.com. But when you look at that and the way that Ed presents it and takes you through, right, all the way from the nice pants takes you through the satellite image of the Giza Plateau, and then slowly builds on that from the crown. And yes, Mark Tarana over in Australia said, okay, just to be clear, right? It all starts there, the crown of the Great Sphinx. Yes, it does. But it's unbelievable. It truly is. And now, combine tonight's show with the original Giza Template 2.0 that we had done, where we go all the way out into the constellations and continue off of planet Earth and back up. It is crazy. That Fibonacci, remember, that's infinite, right? And just continues. And you unwind that thing out. It's just like, wow. So anyway, you guys are posting pictures of that. That's pretty good. Oh, that picture there looks like I'm playing with my teeth. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Anybody ever do that anymore? Does anybody play guitar with their teeth? I think Yngwie did it a little bit, but does anybody do that today? All right, 323-825-5045. 323-275-9695 or 818-921-6929. What do you think about Teresa being here on Thursday nights now? Again, we are moving forward. And also, I was looking, I would like everybody's comments on that. I'm excited. I know that Rita's excited. Moving Fade to Black forward this way. I think it's the perfect fit, and the timing couldn't be better as well. Also, the website, I was looking here at Drew's comments, and it turns out there wasn't any attacks on the website. No, we just had way too much traffic all hitting at the same time and going through the images. So that's what was going on there. Okay, there you go. The phone lines are open. I do want to take a couple of phone calls. We've got enough time to get a couple in. I want to go back and comment about what's going to go on tomorrow with these midterms. And the fascinating thing, it has nothing to do with the politics of it at all. Going around the news, especially this last couple of days, but leading up to this, it's pretty fascinating how you can go to different news outlets and get their takes on everything. And I go back, and if I one more time go back and think about what we went through in the last election, in the presidential election, and the polling, and I will never, ever, for the rest of my life, consider what a poll has to say from any news outlet. They've killed that with the entire population. It doesn't matter where you're coming from. The polling data is not accurate, and they are going to take that polling data and spin it any way that they want to. And it just doesn't matter to me. So here we are at these midterms, going through everything, and the way that everybody wants to put their own spin on tomorrow. I can't wait for the end of tomorrow to come in, and these midterms come through, and people can be silenced tomorrow. I just cannot wait for that. I want to get this over with and done with. And I need to get to Wednesday. This country, this world has just got to have an opportunity to take a deep breath and chill out. Oh, man, it's just been too much. All right, let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Deb from Sacramento.
Hey, Deb, how are you?
Hey, I'm anticipating a red tsunami tomorrow, so I'm good.
Well, good luck with that. And if you're predicting something else or in hopes of something else, good luck with that too. I just want to get this over with. I'm just so tired of it. I'm just so tired. It's almost too much to absorb.
Whatever happens, I just hope that the meditation that's going to happen in Washington, and not just then, but every day we all need to be meditating to bring the country together and put those good vibrations out there, because that good energy out there. I'm so tired of the conflict and having to, walk on eggshells. You never even know what you can say to people anymore. It's sad.
Yeah, I know. Deb, well, we'll see tomorrow night. And oddly enough, we have David Wilcock here tomorrow on midterm day. So that'll be interesting.
Speaking of David, are you going to ask him about the Gaia thing? Are you allowed to ask him about that, or is that gloves?
We'll see. That? We will see what I do tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right.
Keep us in suspense, Jimmy.
I'll see you tomorrow, Deb. Thank you so much.
Okay. Take care. Bye.
Have a good night. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy, it's Scotty.
Hey, Scotty. How are you?
Oh, man, the web we weave.
Yeah.
Does mankind have any idea of what the hell is going on?
No. Do you? I don't.
No. How did it get so complicated? Life was so simple when we were young.
Yeah, I know.
Something has to do.
I know.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're right. I think that every generation would probably say that. When we were young, life was so much simpler. But I don't even think that we knew in the year 2000 or 2005 that we would be this complicated in 2018 going into 2019. Things have gotten way out of hand. I mean, it's just way too complicated. There's no question about it.
Yeah, I mean, someone knew something way beforehand and did not pass it on to the future generations. And I don't know what caused that or why they didn't let us know what was going on. But I think it would have probably solved a lot of problems in where we are today.
Yeah, it's not only the political environment, but if you think about what instant news and smartphones and tablets and Amazon and Google and what this had YouTube, what this has done to our lives, it has completely upended everything. And you remember when pagers came into play, right? When you had a pager and suddenly you couldn't get away from your boss, right? And you had a pager. And so there was that, how simple of a time that was, and that was at the brink of this digital age. But as crazy as it sounds, look where we are now. It's out of control.
Jimmy, I recently just started mountain bike riding, and I've gone out and got a GoPro 7. And I came back, and my son, who's 12 years old, he goes, I can edit this for you. I said, what? And
right.
He put this on, he had a program, he edited everything and put it right on YouTube. And I'm like, what? How does a 12-year-old know how to do this?
That's right. Yeah.
I was stunned.
Yeah.
Stunned.
Yeah, go back to when you were 12.
Right. I was learning the E chord, the A chord, the G chord, the C chord.
Yeah.
I mean, are you kidding me?
I know, right?
I don't know where they're getting this from. I don't know.
So what do you think about Teresa? Thursday nights, huh? Pretty cool?
I think it's exciting. Not only is she a cute person, but she's super smart, and I'm very excited about this.
It's a new era, right? It's a new era for this community and everything else, and Fade to Black is always evolving, but I think it's the perfect fit at the right time.
Jimmy, I don't always call you, and I love you, and your show is spectacular. You are on the cutting edge of everything that is out there. Super smart. You get the super people. You get the super interviews. And I just can't thank you enough. And I don't think the faders, maybe they do. I don't really understand that. But you are the top of the hill of everything. And, man, God bless you for being there.
Checks in the mail, Scott. Thank you so much.
Take care, my friend.
I'll talk to you. There you go. Let's keep the phone calls going. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? You're live.
Hello.
Yeah, you're live.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't know that's how it worked. I was just listening to... I thought I was on hold.
Yeah, you are. Well, you were on hold, but now you're live. Who's calling?
Oh, my name is Martin.
Hey, Martin.
And I've been listening to your show for a while. My wife is a fader not. And, yeah, I had some questions, but I wanted to share some of my experiences, and I've been looking for somebody to listen to my story.
Okay, so talk to me, Martin.
Okay, me and my wife have been married for over 20 years, and we've had some experiences together, and I was recently diagnosed with metastatic bone cancer and was given a very good prognosis, so I've been kind of wanting somebody to hear what we've been through and kind of put it out there before I'm not around anymore. So in case that happens.
Okay, so I'm sorry to hear about the cancer, but what are some of these experiences that you want to share with us?
Well, one of the real amazing ones that we had a few years back was me and my wife were in the living room, and we had these, I guess, like 7 blue orbs come into the living room, and they had like this energy in them. When you looked at them, they were 3-dimensional, and they kind of were organized, and they seemed attracted to my wife, and so as we watched them, they came into my wife. I was standing by my wife, and she said for me to hold her, and when I did, I saw them kind of disappear from the room and kind of go into her, and when I put my arms around her, I felt like I was like when you push 2 magnets together, there was like this repulsion. There's like this energy was pushing me away from her, and her hair was lifting up off of her body. And I had never really heard of that happening to anybody else. And, it's kind of seems, I've looked on for that type of thing that might have happened to other people, and I've never heard of that happening. And,
did you both see the orbs?
Yeah, we did, and it
how
was
big?
Really,
Martin,
amazing.
how big were they?
I'd say just slightly smaller than a softball.
Wow.
And they seemed to have they definitely had some type of organized conscious to them, but I'm not really sure what their purpose was. So we've had other events. When we lived in Phoenix, this is where it happened in our home down there.
Mm-hmm.
And we were out back one time. We had a really large backyard, and we would just go out and look at the stars and different things. And we had this object pass over our house just like 100 feet off the ground that had no lights, made no sound. I don't know what really attracted our attention to it, but it was just like all of a sudden we saw this object moving by, and it kind of made like a slight hum sound, but it wasn't anything that, wasn't like a UFO kind of shape or anything. It just had this, I kind of described the back of it. It looked like the back of a dump truck or a trash truck. So it was just kind of interesting that it wasn't your traditional triangle or, saucer-shaped thing, but it was definitely something that we don't have.
What part of Phoenix was this?
Northwest Phoenix, Peoria area.
Northwest, like Dunlop off the 17?
Yeah, actually up on Bell Road and between the Loop and 17.
Yeah, I like that area up there. Yeah, Bell Road.
By the Arrowhead Mall, just south of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you impressed that I even know that?
I am a bit. Yeah, most people are just like, what? Yeah. So you've been there a few times.
Yeah, I used to stay at the Sheridan Crescent right there.
Oh.
You know where that is, right? That would be Dunlop in the 17, in between Dunlop and Bell on the 17.
All right, yeah. Right over there on the 7. All right.
Yeah, where there used to be across the street from the Sheridan. And the reason why I'm laying this out for everybody, this is it's a suburb part of Phoenix. You know, you're not like downtown. We're getting up north, but as you continue north, it starts to thin out the population quite a bit. It gets a little bit more spread out there, which is the area that you're talking about.
Yeah, when I first came into Phoenix in the early 80s, it was like on Van Buren, and I was like wondering why I was moving there, because my impression of the town was, homeless people in the parks with guns and hotels with signs that said the sheets were extra and stuff. So I was kind of like, oh.
The sheets are extra.
I slowly moved north from there. I went down there to go to college and then ended up as far north as I could get.
So, Martin, what do you think ultimately is going on?
Well, I feel like we've been giving these, it seems like lots of people are seeing things, but it just seems like there's always been this kind of, I don't know if it seems like it's an outright thing. I don't want to blame the government, because it's like they want to keep something secret and make everyone else think that it's not really happening. And then if it is happening, or if you think something's happening, then you might be crazy. But I'm not crazy, and, it's happened to me. So I just really, my big, I keep finding myself is asking why is it happening? Why am I being shown these things? Is there some ultimate purpose? Is it so that, am I supposed to talk about it, or am I supposed to find other people that have had experiences like that? I know that you have a show where you're making lots of connections, and you meet lots of people that have had all types of experiences. So,
and I think the orbs, and certainly blue orbs, is talked about quite often. And although I haven't had a blue orb show up in my home, I've certainly seen things outside that resemble that. But we've had many, many, many people on this show that have had blue orbs inside of their homes. Was that the only time it happened with you, or did they come back and visit again?
Well, they came back and visited my wife again, and I think that she was the main focus of their intention, and that the reason I feel the reason I experienced it with her is so that when she would say something, that happened after that, I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, right.
Right.
It was kind of like it was a shared experience, and we both saw the same thing, and then they came back a few more times to her, and it seems to be, I don't know if it's to enlighten her or to awaken her, or because my wife has always had a very, almost, I want to say, like psychic gifts, and knowing things that were going to happen, or, being able to alter the timeline that you're currently on. I don't know if you're into that. But
sure. Sure.
I used to do satellite installation work, and one day, my wife says, whatever you do today, be careful on the ladder, because I used to get up on big 20-foot A-frames and work in the ceilings in Walmarts and grocery stores and run video cable and stuff. Well, and I would usually use their ladder that they had at the store instead of getting the one off my truck, because I'd have to carry it all the way in from out, in the parking lot.
Right.
So this one day that went through my head, and I got into this Walmart and got off their ladder, and it was kind of shaky. It was kind of bent. And, the voice of my wife saying, be careful today on the ladder. So I put that ladder back and went and got my brand new one off my truck and brought it in. And when I climbed up in the ceiling and popped the drop panel off, a huge bat of insulation hit me in the face. And if I had been on that crappy ladder, I would have fallen and probably died. And then when I got home and I told her what happened, she goes, well, I saw, it's not like a vision. She just like had this knowing. She goes, I saw you die today. And so there's been other incidences where she's been, you know, right on about different things and changing people's timelines. So.
Well, we're at the end of the show, Martin, but maybe you can answer this really quickly. I've got about 1 minute left. Did she receive any information? Did the blue orbs or spheres, did they share any information with her that you can talk about?
No, and that's what's been kind of the frustrating point for us is that, you know, it's like, what is the point of it? You know, what are they bringing some type of healing that we just haven't seen yet, or is it some type of an awakening? You know, but we haven't actually been given any message or received any type of additional insight. I mean, my health has slowly been going down over the last few years. I just don't know what the purpose is, other than maybe it's to prepare her for in case something happens to me, but I don't know.
Right. Well, maybe on Thursday night you can have her call in. What's her name?
She goes by Catrice, but I think she's called in before and she likes to use a different name.
Okay.
But I'm not sure. But I think you've talked to her before.
Okay. Well, I would like to hear from her again now that I've got more information here. But Martin, thank you so much for taking the time. And
thanks for answering. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, thanks. Have a good night.
Thank you, Martin. That's a great phone call right there. And I'm sorry I can't do anything else, and everybody else that is on, I've got to roll out of here. But tomorrow night, David Wilcock is going to be here. We're going to be talking about the new film, Above Majestic, and you can, if you haven't seen it yet, if you're one of the few that hasn't seen it, you can go and check it out on Amazon or all of the other streaming services, whatever you use for that, and check it out. And then tomorrow night on the show, we'll be discussing the new film, Above Majestic. And also, by the time the show rolls in here tomorrow night, we'll find out what the ultimate results are probably going to be from those midterm elections that are taking place tomorrow here in the United States of America. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Fade to Black's executive producer is Rita Camarion. Show is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster, Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. This broadcast owned and copyrighted 2018 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Until tomorrow night with David Wilcock, everybody be safe. Go Beckley Tepe.